Welcome back to the channel, everybody. You were watching Probably at Disney, and the theme of today's video is everything old is new again. As we talked in a recent video, Disney is going all in on kids and families this summer to counter Epic Universe's more adult or teen-centric experiences. Disney has titled their summer promotion Cool Kids Summer, which I think could have been workshopped a little bit more, but that's beside the point. But this promo will include free dining, a resort discount, 2 ticket discounts, with the most notable being 50% off kids tickets, as well as a focus on Hollywood Studios' 2 new shows and the Magic Kingdom's new nighttime parade. And to advertise all of this together, Disney released a new commercial in recent days, and I wanted to share it with you for 2 reasons. The first is that it's a bit of a throwback to the classic heartfelt commercials of the 90s and early 2000s, which is quite a departure from the more recent glossy action-focused promos and trendy style ads we've seen in recent years. And I think that may be indicative of a new marketing strategy for Disney World, or rather an old marketing strategy. Secondly, this new commercial offered a conceptual preview of The Little Mermaid, A Musical Adventure, Villains Unfairly Ever After, and Magic Kingdom's Disney Starlight Parade. But the Villains show segment offered quite a bit of what we could expect in the show itself, and right on the heels of Disney revealing this look at the show stage, which you can see. I have to say, I was impressed. I feel it does look exactly like the concept art, which is refreshing. And it appears that Disney is really putting in the investment on this production. So even though this show is meant to be temporary, it doesn't look temporary, and I appreciate that. But back to the commercial. The Villains Unfairly Ever After segment reconfirmed what we've been hearing, which is that Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, and Captain Hook are the stars of this show. It also further suggests the villains won't exactly look like they do on screen or even in the parks themselves, especially Hook, as he appears to be a face character in this production. And the animation suggests we may see Maleficent in her dragon form during Unfairly Ever After, which is something we hadn't heard previously. And if the Magic Mirror's connection to both this show and Villains Land are true, perhaps there's also a tie between Dragon Maleficent here and her Villains Land coaster. And this may be a stretch, but if true, and if she is trapped in the Magic Mirror's realm, and that realm is going to be Villains Land, wouldn't it be interesting if this landscape we see in the background is meant to be that upcoming Magic Kingdom land? Now, I also wanted to point out that the frames in this animation show objects and cameos associated with the villains that are a bit different from this concept art, and it suggests that these frames are going to change throughout the show. Once again, this is an attraction to watch, as I believe this is both a playtest for Magic Kingdom's Villains Land and a way to promote the upcoming project for Imagineering, and I am very curious to see how obvious they're going to be with establishing those connections, as well as what tone the show is going to adopt. Should we expect some cartoonishness, or are they truly going to go dark with this one? Only time will tell. Now, if you're plugged into the Disney news machine, I'm sure you've heard that Disney World intends to have both of its water parks, which are Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, open at the same time this year, beginning May 21st and running through September 7th. And this is the first time that has happened since 2019, back when that was normal. That was completely standard. And what caught my attention this week is Disney outright said that themselves, which is an admission that Walt Disney World has never returned to its fully functioning state since the pandemic. And Disney referred to all 6 of its parks in this announcement, meaning they're putting the water parks on par with the theme parks, which is something Universal has done since Volcano Bay opened, but I don't recall Disney doing previously. And adding to the surprising language, the throwback commercial, and a renewed focus on kids and families, there are rumors, and I emphasize these are rumors as I haven't heard this from a direct source myself, but that Disney may be planning, if not gearing up, to return Magical Express back to Orlando International and the Disney World resorts. Please take that with a grain of salt, but this rumor followed Disney executives in the press talking about the value of the Disney bubble, which is something we haven't heard the Disney brass talk much about in recent years. So we will see, but if true, Epic Universe appears to be the best thing to happen to Walt Disney World, and that it finally pushed the powers that be to return this vacation destination to normal. Now, if you're planning on visiting Walt Disney World in May or early June for these cool kid summer deals and the new attractions, and if you're a shopper or collector, Hollywood Studios is going to be your shopping destination. Muppet Vision 3D merchandise is expected, not yet confirmed, to be released the weeks leading up to the show's closure on June 7th. And if Disney is truly all in on Villains Unfairly Ever After, I think some merchandise for that show is a safe bet as well and will likely release just ahead of the show's debut on May 27th. Finally, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Disneyland's Disney Junior show is getting a makeover. But Disney World's version at Hollywood Studios has yet to receive a similar announcement. Whether that's indicative of changes coming to Animation Courtyard or not is unknown, but I think, or at least I hope, we'll know more about that very, very soon. So that is all I have for today. I know it's a bit of a quick update, but I hope I conveyed that major shifts are happening behind the scenes at Walt Disney World. And this summer is going to be incredibly fascinating in terms of the new shows, how guests respond to Disney's attempts amidst the Epic Universe buzz. And while I didn't dig into it today, what else may be closing at Walt Disney World this summer? So if you're all about Disney Park and cruise line news and analysis, and if you're as curious as I am about everything happening in Orlando in the next couple of months, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button, and let me know in the comments if you agree that this new commercial from Disney is a throwback to those classic Disney World commercials, and also your thoughts and theories on how Villains Unfairly Ever After may connect to Magic Kingdom's Villains Land. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a magical day.